What's up with it, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Raider Honcho, and I'm back with a brand new video for you. So let's get into it, man. You already know the vibes. You already know what time it is. Yo, last night was our first preseason game. My first game preseason, any type of Raiders game as being a content creator. It was a great night. We was out there, did the pregame and did the halftime. Shout out to my homie Ray for popping up on the pregame. And shout out to everybody who tuned in, who came through, who showed love, who left comments, and did the super chats, gave donations. I appreciate everybody who's been following me on Instagram and Twitter at Raider Honcho. Get at me. I try to answer everybody. I try to answer as many people as I can, but understand I'm not going to see every comment in the chat. But with that being said, I thought last night was a great night, and I'm going to do more of a game recap maybe later on. But right now, I just had a few things that I want to talk about. I want to get off my chest. And man, you know I'm a defensive guy, man. You know I have a lot of questions about the defense, man. I think we all knew the defense had to be better, man. And you know what, man? What stood out to me last night was that Nate Hobbs is going to be that guy. Nate Hobbs is going to be that guy, and I've been trying to tell y'all for the last couple weeks. I told y'all once we drafted him, and I got to know who he was and got more familiar with what type of pedigree he had and what type of player he was, what type of dog he was, how ferocious he is, his measurables. And I know a lot of people were down on him because, oh, if you look at his tape, if you watch his tape, look, man, sometimes the tape only going to show you what the tape is supposed to show you. Doesn't mean you're going to see everything. If you just watch certain clips, yeah, you might say, oh, his tape wasn't that good. But if you watch games, if you watch entire games, same thing with Gillespie. If you watch entire games of Nate Hobbs, you can see that the boy can play and the boy is aggressive and the boy was made for the NFL game. The man he's designed and built for the NFL game. And I told a lot of people before the season that if he can just do what Amik Robinson does, he's bigger, faster, stronger, he's going to get the nod, okay? Now, we all know that the position battle was between him, Nevin Lawson, and Amik Robinson. Well, I tell you what. The position battle between Nate Hobbs and Nate Hobbs. That's it. It's over. Nate Hobbs is going to be our starting slot corner unless something crazy dramatic happens, some unforeseeable turn of events happens. Nate Hobbs is going to be that guy, and he is going to be, as much as I like Trayvon Merritt, Nate Hobbs is going to dictate how good this defense is because he's fast, he's aggressive, he's electric. You can see when he's on the field, he just jumps off. He moves at a different speed than almost every other guy in that secondary. And I'm super excited about it. I think Nate Hobbs was super impressive last night. When you saw him on the blitz, you saw how fast he got to the quarterback. You don't normally see corners moving that fast. Like, it looked like everybody else was standing still and he was moving. It's so good to see, such a breath of fresh air to have a cornerback like Nate Hobbs who just gets it. You can put him out there. And when you talk about Nevin Lawson probably going to miss the first 2 games due to suspension, I think he lost the job. I think Nate Hobbs is going to be the guy in that position. And it's not just because, oh, his measurables, he's bigger, stronger, faster. Not all of those things are just the only reasons. But at the end of the day, he played for Lovie Smith. He's used to this type of defense. He's used to this scheme. He fits well into the scheme that Gus Bradley is trying to run because he ran that with Lovie Smith in college. So you guys have to understand that when you got a guy who knows the system, can run the system, and then has those type of measurables, 4'4" guy, super strong, super aggressive, just a straight dog, that's what you need to play in the slot. You need to be able to keep contact and be physical with guys off the line of scrimmage, whether you get jam or not. You have to be able to run hip to hip with guys. You need to be able to stay in their pockets, and I think Nate Hobbs is perfect for that job. Nate Hobbs was super impressive to me last night, but not just Nate Hobbs. I think the whole defense, the defense as a whole was impressive to me. The way they moved around, the way they flew around the field. You saw a lot of times, even when we only rushed 4 guys, the quarterbacks for the Seahawks, albeit Geno Smith and Mr. Magoo back there, but with all that being said, they couldn't even push the ball downfield. They could not push the ball downfield when we had the starting defense, and even though it might not be our starters, but that first unit that we had out there, they couldn't move the ball on them even when we only rushed 4 because downfield the coverage was so tight. You didn't have to say Trayvon Merritt's name too much because, shit, they didn't even test him. They didn't even get no ball past 15 yards to give him a look. And I think that's kudos to Damon Arnett and Nixon, who I want to give a lot of credit to because Nixon is a straight dog. I hope he makes his team. I know I've been hard on Nixon and Lawson and Isaiah Johnson, but I think Nixon what he brings to the table, you need on this team. You need on this team, whether it be special teams or not. But I like the way Nixon played back there. I like the way our whole defense played. And I know I gave a lot of shit to John Gruden and Mayak for drafting safeties to turn them into linebackers. They did it again this year. They did it with Tanner Muse. But Tanner Muse looked good last night. I'm not going to hold you. Tanner Muse looked pretty decent last night. He looked fast as well. But Javen White really stood out to me. Javen White was a guy who really stood out to me because he's a former free safety, if I'm not mistaken. But when you talk about the linebackers playing coverage, it makes sense to have guys who can play defensive back play that position. Now, I don't like you taking free safety and turn them into linebackers and put them in the box and have them be middle linebackers and stuff like that. But when you talk about you're always going to have a linebacker in coverage, Javen White looked really good last night. I don't have the stats in front of me or nothing like that, but Javen White was flying all over the field. This might be one of the fastest defenses in the league because you got guys that used to play all over the field that are now like coming into positions where the speed isn't usually there. Our linebackers are so fast. If you have Muse and Javen White on the field at the same time, those are 2-4-4 guys. Those are two guys that can run, man. Like, it's hard to find that in a linebacker position. So when you add Littleton and Kokowski to that, you add Morrow to that, like, our linebackers look really good. I think our secondary looks good. I think Arnett had a little bit of bad luck last night because he was in positions to make plays but just didn't make the plays. And it wasn't that many. I think he had one where he went for the ball, had his hand on the ball. The guy ends up catching it, runs downfield for a big gain. It might have been on third down. But all in all, I thought the defense looked good. I thought Solomon Thomas looked good. I thought Cleveland Farrell looked good. I thought Falone looked like a man amongst boys out there. So, yeah, I just thought our defense as a whole really impressed. And I'm really excited to see what we do later on. But Nate Hobbs, I'm telling you right here, right now, Nate Hobbs is here, y'all. Nate Hobbs is here, man. And shout out to Raider Scout because when we drafted him, he said he was a good player. I hadn't heard much about him. So shout out to Raider Scout for always doing his homework and doing his due diligence and knowing who the hell we drafted. But, yeah, Nate Hobbs looks really good. Our whole defense was impressive last night. I'm excited to see us play another game. We got the Rams, a way more formidable opponent as far as offense and quarterbacks and receivers. So we'll get a better look at what our defense is. But for week 1, in the preseason, I thought we looked pretty damn good. If you like the video, like the video. If you like the content on this channel, please subscribe to the channel. You got anything to talk about, get down there in the comments. Get down there for my Patreon. Get down there for the memberships to the YouTube channel. And, yeah. Don't forget to hit me up on Instagram and Twitter, both at Honcho. Check out RaiderHoncho.com. We got the pregame show coming during the season. Once it's official, once the season officially starts, you have the pregame with Raid and Honch. Look out for that, man. That's going to be fire. That's my guy. And, yeah, until the next time, Raider Honcho out.